Family House is a pediatric guest house that offers comfort and support for families of children with cancer and other life-threatening illnesses.
It's now been just over a year since the grand opening of the new facility in Mission Bay. Since that day, Family House has been at over 100% capacity with more than 12,000 people staying there.
For more now, we are joined this morning by Family House CEO Alexandra Morgan. Thank you for coming in.
Good morning.
Thank you for all you do. What, 15, 16 years now?
16 years. Right.
250 people per night.
Right.
80 families. You used to be located in the Sunset District. Now you're in Mission Bay. What's the biggest difference between those two locations that you have noticed over the past year since moving in?
Well, the best thing is the new building was designed specifically for the purpose of being a pediatric guest house for very sick children and their families. The other two buildings were sort of gerrymandered old apartment buildings, you know, that we did our best. But now we've got a state-of-the-art building that was designed specifically for the needs of these families.
And what, I mean, I imagine sleeping, eating, having a little safe group area to sort of, you know, cry it out and hug, but then also wanting to talk with other families who might encourage me. Talk about the specific physical changes that you appreciate in this building.
Well, one of the best things is every 10 families shares a kitchen. And I think we all know it happens around the kitchen table. People share meals, they support one another, and that's probably the most elegant thing about Family House is the way families support one another because they uniquely understand what the others are going through. It's such an isolating experience for your child to be diagnosed with cancer or something really bad.
As we look at video here of the Family House, is it mainly for short-term housing, or is the long-term goal to offer maybe long-term housing to some families who maybe economically can't afford if you're paying all the medical bills to stay where they are? Honestly,
I wish we could house everybody for as long as they need it. As long as their child is in treatment at UCSF, they've got a home at Family House. So that's pretty much our mission.
If you're at more than 100% capacity, I imagine you might have to turn some people away. How do people get in? And talk to me about the decision of turning families away.
Well, we work very closely with UCSF pediatric social workers, so they refer 100% of the families. But rather than turning people away, we turn living rooms into bedrooms, so we can have 104 or 5% capacity. They may not be sleeping in a bedroom, but the whole point of the new building is to never have to turn anybody away. So our census pretty much matches the census at the hospital.
What about volunteers? What are the importance of volunteers for Family House?
We could not exist without volunteers. Last year we had over 3,000 volunteers, and we're going to have many more this year. They cook, they clean, they play games, they do arts and crafts, they garden. I mean, you name it. Whatever you need done in your house, we need done in our house, and we rely on volunteers.
But the same volunteers come back. I'm just curious. You know, they get, you know, because they just love what they're doing. They learn a little more about the Family House and the families that come in.
We've had volunteers who have been there for 30 years. But we also have Salesforce as a tremendous partner, sends volunteers every week, as well as individuals who are our new neighbors in Mission Bay.
Can you say a word to those families who may not be using UCSF services or may not be fortunate enough to be in the Family House? What can you say to those families who are struggling, who are in a very dark, painful time, and who don't have that support system that you do provide?
I think what's really important is for every parent is to, keep the faith when you're going through something difficult. There are community resources, but the other thing is finding support among family, friends, community is the most important thing to do, to whether it's a church or a synagogue or a community center or a school, to not feel isolated. I think that is the absolutely worst component of having a very sick child.
I know we've done meal trains for families in need at our schools.
Absolutely.
You know, you deliver on Monday night, I'll bring a lasagna Tuesday night.
Absolutely.
It's something small, but it helps so much.
Just connect.
You know? And I know you deal a lot with donations. And support, and you have a gala in the fall.
Yes, we do.
Is that in October?
We've got a big party on October the 7th. It's called the Grand Hollywood Party to celebrate our beneficiaries, Nancy and Stephen Grand. And we also do a wine event, which will be St. Patrick's Day next year at the St. Regis, and that's a crazy, insane, wonderful party.
Well, thank you again for what you do.
My pleasure.
Again, 250 people per night, 80 families, filled to capacity at the Family House. Alexandra, thanks for coming in.
Thank you both.
Of course. Coming up next on Mornings on 2 to 9.